here in our communities, and what you're seeing just with the overall threat. It has been some time since we've received a direct hit, and there are many who are saying it's not a matter of if but when another one hits. Your thoughts about what you're seeing on that front, because when most people think about natural disasters and the impacts, a lot of people resort towards hurricanes because of our history. How much has that changed over time?
So we just came through a hurricane season that was not very active here in the north central Pacific. This is a good thing. Count our lucky stars. We have now moved into a El Nino situation. It appears to be a moderate to strong El Nino, and historically, strong El Ninos have been active hurricane seasons for the state of Hawaii. So we shouldn't become complacent because we just had a relatively stable season. It very well may be the case that 2024 is a very active hurricane season. Globally, when you look at tropical cyclones and you map the maximum wind speeds, they are migrating away from the equator globally. So that this means that hurricanes are basically following new pathways. And out here in the central North Pacific, a hurricane that may wander out this far historically would pass south of the Big Island. But if they are migrating away from the equator, that means that hurricanes are now migrating up to the same latitude as the Hawaiian Islands. We also know that hurricanes are larger, they're wetter, the wind speeds are higher, and they're intensifying more rapidly. So they become more dangerous, and they're following new pathways, pathways that will cause them to intersect with the Hawaiian Islands more frequently. So the threat from hurricanes is growing. It's not shrinking.
And you combine that with what we've talked about with you in the past, which is sea level rise. Can you talk a little bit about that and the dangers that, I mean, you're the danger guy today, but really, I mean, that is something that we have been talking about for so long, but for folks who may not be paying attention or may not understand the magnitude of what we're facing, given those temperatures that you laid out at the top, how serious is the sea level rise issue for us right now?
Yeah, the sea level rise issue is serious, but we're still at the very beginning of it. We learned from the most recent report from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which came out, it was 3 reports that came out over the last 2 years, that sea level rise is going to continue for centuries to millennia, and that's a quote. Now, what are millennia? That means thousands of years. Sea level rise is driven by thermal expansion of the ocean because it's absorbing heat from our warmer atmosphere. You cannot unheat the ocean. All you can do is attempt to stop global warming and to stop putting additional heat into the ocean. But we are now committed to centuries of sea level rise. It's accelerating, it's irreversible, it is a reality for our communities on the coastal zone. Sea level rise hits our communities in multiple ways. It causes coastal erosion. And if we want to maintain our beaches in the future, we can't respond to coastal erosion by building seawalls everywhere because seawalls will kill beaches. We need a more difficult and sophisticated approach in order for our children to continue to have beaches and access to the ocean. Sea level rise also causes the water table underneath our coastal communities to rise, creating new wetlands in downtown Waikiki, downtown Kaka'ako. These are places where we don't really want wetlands, had not built for them. We also know that our drainage system, when it rains, the system of pipes that channels our rainfall away into either the Alawai or into the ocean, in the case of Honolulu, becomes a source of high tide saltwater discharging onto the roads. So this is called storm drain backflow. There are, in other words, multiple forms of sea level rise, not just the ocean coming over the shoreline, which means that for blocks, Mauka of the coast, maybe even half a mile Mauka of the coast, you've got all those buildings and roads and communities needing to adapt to the problem. It's not simply a beachfront issue.